السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome again, my dear students of first year secondary. Here is Miss Iman keeping my promise to tell you the secret of superiority. أهلا بيكم أبنائي وبناتي طلاب الصف الأول الثانوي، وعلى وعدنا هنعرف مع بعض سر التفوق. Today, inshallah, we're gonna complete chapter 1 in our story or our novel that is Oliver Twist. We will go through this story or this chapter in more detail. Okay, and we will discuss that through all kinds of questions that you're gonna find in your exam paper. هنناقش أكتر Oliver Twist chapter 1 بجميع أنواع الأسئلة اللي ممكن تقابلها في الإكزام بيبر بتاعتك اللي هي WH question, critical thinking question, and quotation questions. I hope you will find it enjoyable and full of benefit. Let's start together. Here we have a question that is a quotation, okay? Why are you crying? You're very lucky to work here. Who said this? To whom? Number 2, why was the addressed person sad and crying? Number 3, was he really lucky to work at that place? Why and why not? Take care my dear students. هنخلي بالنا كويس قوي لأن الكوتيشن ده اللي هو أوله why are you crying ده كوتيشن similar لكوتيشن تاني برضو أوله why are you crying. بس هنخلي بالنا من الكومبليشن لما يقول لي you're lucky to work here يبقى here هنا على طول هعرف إن السبيكر هنا هم the managers of the workhouse. The managers of the workhouse. يبقى كلمة here لما يقول لي to work here يبقى the managers of the workhouse. To whom? To طبعا Oliver. Okay. Why was he sad and crying? Because he left his friends. احنا طبعا من الكوتيشن ده او من الكراينج بتاعته ده بنعرف ان Oliver is a sensitive character. Is a sensitive character. He was sad to leave his friends. And the only home he had ever known. طيب. Was he really lucky to work there in the workhouse? Of course no. أكيد ما كانش محظوظ. Why? Because he worked hard there. However, his bed was very uncomfortable and the food was never enough. So the boys were so close to starving. Starving اللي هو يموت من الجوع. اوكي اللي هي زي ما بنقول كده starving اللي هو زي مجاعة أو بيموت من الجوع. يبقى طبعا he wasn't lucky. question اللي بعده وده the most famous quotation in Oliver Twist. أشهر quotation في Oliver Twist. اوكي وأشهر scene طبعا the most famous scene and quotation. Please sir I want some more. Please sir I want some more. الquestion اللي عليها who said this to whom. اوكي طيب قبل ما نشوف الquestions أنا حابة انه ان شاء الله الفيديو يكون ريدي معانا ونشوف السين ده لانه هو it deserves to be seen. Okay, ده one of the main and effective scenes in the Oliver Twist. طيب نشوف الكويستشن على ما الفيديو بتاعنا يكون جاهز. Who said this? To whom? Why did the speaker say that? ليه السبيكر قال كده؟ What would the result of this demand? زي ما احنا شايفين ده demand طالما قال please يبقى ده demand طلب. ايه الريزلت بتاع الطلب ده؟ نشوف مع بعض الفيديو. Ready? Okay.
Comes upon parochial business.
Oh, my heart alive, Mr. Bumble. I'm glad I am to see you, surely.
I should hope so, Mrs. Mann. Seeing as you are, I may say, a parochial stipendiary.
Now, don't be offended, but you've had a long walk, or I wouldn't mention it. Little drop of something, Mr. Bumble.
Not a drop. Not a drop, Mum.
Oh, I think you will. Just a little drop. And a little hot water. And a lump of sugar.
What is it?
Well, it's what I'm obliged to keep in the house to put in the blessed infant's physic when they ain't well, Mr. Bumble. It's gin. I won't deceive you. It's gin.
You give this to the children, Mum?
Ah, bless 'em, that I do, dear as it is. I couldn't see 'em suffer before me very eyes, you know, Mr.
No, Mum, you could not. You are a humane woman, Mrs. Mann, and I should take an early opportunity of mentioning it to the board. You feel as a mother, Mrs. Mann, and I drink your health with cheerfulness, Mrs. Mann. And now, Ma'am, about business. Master Oliver Twist.
Bless him. Oliver! He's been about healthy exercises. Oh, look at the little angel now. Make a bow to the gentleman, Oliver.
Now, will you go along with me, Oliver?
I told you I had a surprise for you.
Will you go with me?
No, she can't. But she may visit you sometimes.
Oh, mustn't take on. Here.
Greed. Greed, Mrs. Mann. And that will have to be corrected. Now, come, lad. You ought to go before the board.
Board? A wooden board, sir.
This new poor law will be the salvation of the labouring classes.
You think so, sir?
I know so, sir.
Outdoor relief will be sorely missed. I know many a family who would have starved without it.
Hunger teaches a poor man independence, and work teaches him his duty.
I agree. Poverty must not be made an excuse for idleness. Idleness is a deadly sin, you know.
Precisely so. Would you have the parish take the devil's part, sir?
No, indeed, sir. But a poor man may be overcome by misfortune through no fault of his own.
Then the board must encourage him to be more careful. And you won't do that by making the workhouse too comfortable.
Hear, hear.
Free breakfast, dinner and supper ain't the way, sir. This workhouse has become a regular place of public entertainment.
Bow to the board, sir.
What's your name, boy?
Olive Twist, sir.
Boy's a fool.
Why, listen to me. You know you're an orphan, I suppose?
What's that, sir?
The boy is a fool. I thought he was.
Well, you know you have no father or mother and were brought up by the parish.
Yes, sir.
What are you snivelling for?
I hope you say your prayers every night like a Christian and pray for the people who feed you and take care of you.
Yes, sir.
Well, you have come here to be educated and to be taught a useful trade.
So you'll begin to pick oakum tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock.
Do you not know what oakum is, boy?
He will learn by the practical method.
Get on with it.
Cold work, ain't it?
Was it furnace? It's open.
Stops bolts from sinking. Fills up the holes, see? Keeps out the water.
Makes your head hurt, too. We got another 6 hours of it yet, and then another 12 again tomorrow, and every tomorrow after that. Barring Sundays, that's just bad. Sitting up straight like a poker all day. Swallow. Breathe deep. That's better.
Stop this talking. You'll miss your supper. No wasting time. I warned you.
Supper, he calls it. One bowl of gruel. die. He'll starve.
Get that in. Right, next. Come on. Come on. Come on. Right, next. Come along. Next. Take your hat off. Twist, take your hat off. Come on. Stand still. Come on. Go. That's it. Go on. Next. Back to your place. Twist! Are you out of your senses?
Please, sir. I want some more.
What?
Please, sir. I want some more.
What?
Asked for more, did you say?
Now compose yourself, man.
Bumble, answer me distinctly. Do I understand that after he had eaten the supper allotted to him by the dietary, this boy Twist asked for more?
He did, sir.
That boy will be hung. I know that boy will be hung.
Oliver Twist asked for more.
I was never more convinced of anything in my life. That boy will come to be hung.
And let that be a warning to you all.
Okay, as we have seen in the video, how dark and difficult was life in the 19th century. زي ما شفنا وفي how cruel ازاي كانت الحياة قاسية في الورك هاوس وشفنا ان في big difference between the food that the managers were eating and the food that the little kids were eating. Okay, فهنا المين سين عندنا او المين quotation كان بيقول oh please sir I want some more. طبعا who said that? Oliver Twist. Okay, to whom? To the master who gave their who gave them their food. يبقى الشخص اللي هو بيديهم الفود ده اسمه the master okay who gave them the food. Why did he ask for more food? Because the food wasn't enough and they were زي ما قلنا قبل كده انه they were about to starve. اوكي طيب what is the result of this demon؟ the result طبعا كانت very terrible زي ما شفنا كانت العواقب وخيمة زي ما بنقول. اوكي the master got furious مش بس angry لا ده was very furious. اوكي وأوليفر was locked in a dark room اتعاقب ان هو were locked اتحبس في dark room at every meal وعلى كل وجبة بس بيطلع. اوكي why to be beaten by Mr. Bumble. Mr. Bumble beat him in front of the all boys for them not to ask for more as Oliver did. Moreover, the workhouse put a sign to find someone to take Oliver away. خلاص it's over. حتى هو في quotation برضو مشهور قال if he wasn't happy with our generosity لو هو مش مبسوط بالكرم بتاعنا معاه اوكي he must go away لازم يمشي. الكوتيشن اللي بعده زي ما قلنا اهو ده السيميلر كوتيشن اللي قلت لكم عليه اللي هو مشابه للي فات. why are you crying? you should be happy to have the opportunity to work with someone like Mr. Sowerberry. لما هنا بقى هيقول لي Sowerberry يبقى مين اللي بيقول who said that و to whom هنشوف where were they why was the addressed person او الادريسي الشخص المخاطب why was he crying. طبعا اللي قال الكلام ده بس في الحالة دي لما يجيب لي اسم مستر ساوربيري why are you crying يبقى على طول ده مستر بامبل بس هو اللي قاله. لكن لما يقول لي to بامبل بس هو اللي قاله. لكن لما يقول لي to بامبل بس هو اللي قاله. لكن لما يقول لي to بامبل بس هو اللي قاله. لكن لما يقول لي to بامبل بس هو اللي قاله. Why? Because he had no friends. Oliver was crying because he has no friends there. زي ما قلنا أوليفر كان sensitive قوي لموضوع الفريندز ده لأن هم يعني they are considered to be their family. خلاص هو ملوش family لكن مجرد إن هو بيبقى موجود مع his friends بيعتبرهم their family و he loved them as their family. Question 10. If you were Oliver هنا critical thinking question for your opinion بقى. If you were Oliver would you be sad to leave the workhouse؟ هل هتكون حزين وانت بتسيب الworkhouse؟ طبعا أنا from my point of view أو from many points of view إنه no I wouldn't be sad I would be happy to leave this miserable life لأن الحياة كانت في الworkhouse زي ما شفنا miserable. okay طيب perhaps the new employer would be kinder and generous وأخدنا قبل كده employer في unit 2 employer اللي هو the owner of the company أو the work. okay ممكن يكون في أمل يبقى more kind يبقى kinder and more generous ممكن يبقى أكرم من كده أو kinder than this. وطبعا لو أنت جاوبت إجابة مختلفة مثلا لو أنت رأيك زي أوليفر إن أنت yes it's okay that's your opinion. لو أنت هتبقى sad برضو to leave your friends it's okay. لكن زي ما قلنا في critical thinking questions as long as your answer is related and reasonable طالما هي ليها علاقة بالستوري وريزنبل منطقية خلاص it's accepted. Question 11 but it will cost money to feed him. It will cost money to feed him. Who said this? To whom? What does the word him refer to? him هنا في الquotation refer to whom? Number 3 was the speaker kind to him فعلا؟ شوف الانسر. طبعا اللي قالت but it will cost money to feed him هتكلف فلوس كتيرة to feed him عشان نأكله. اوكي ده طبعا بعد ما شافوا أوليفر ولقوا ان هو very small and weak. okay they weren't happy with the shape or with the look of Oliver. okay and said but it will cost money to feed him. Who said this? طبعا Mrs. Sowerberry اللي هي Mr. Sowerberry's wife. بنقول عليها Mrs. Sowerberry to Mr. Bumble. طيب وhim refers to طبعا Oliver Twist. طيب was she really kind to him? Of course no. She treated him unkindly. عملته بقى طبعا unkindly. She gave him some old food. حتى ما فيش food يعني هو صح كان not enough ولا حاجة لا ده كان كمان old food. She made him sleep in the cold shop among coffins، خليته ينام في مكان اللي هي في الشوب between اللي هي زي ما قلنا unfinished coffins، بين التوابيت اللي هي ايه لسه بتتعمل او مش منتهيه. طيب who was نوح كلايبول؟ مين بقى نوح كلايبول؟ وده قابلناه وعرفنا ان هو another apprentice لمستر ساوربيري، قابله في مستر ساوربيري's house. who was نوح كلايبول و how did he treat أوليفر؟ وازاي عامله؟ نوح كلايبول he was an apprentice of Mr. Sowerberry، برضه صبي عند مستر ساوربيري. ولو عايزين بالتفصيل ممكن نقول he was a tall boy with red nose، لكن هو في الأصل هو apprentice زي أوليفر، apprentice برضه مساعد أو صبي لمستر ساوربيري. طيب how did he treat Oliver؟ طبعا he treated him badly unkindly. Okay, he gave Oliver orders، بدأ يعامله ان هو to give him orders and a small kick، كمان كان بيضربه كده برجليه kick. Okay, to make sure Oliver knew who the master was، عشان يعمل عليه بقى ان هو ايه master. ومن ضمن الاوردرز اللي كان بيديها له مثلا كان بيقول له open the shutters، الشاترز اللي هي الابواب بتاعه الشبابيك، واحيانا الشاترز بنقولها على الشيش. انتوا عارفين الفيرب شت يقفل، اوكي، شت زي كلوز، اوكي، شاتر اللي هي زي ما قلنا الابواب او الشيش. كان بيقول له open the shutter work house boy، ودايما كان مش بيناديله باسمه اوليفر، لا كان بيقول له work house boy. في كوتيشن عندنا هنا برضو I heard she died in the workhouse because she was no good at anything. طبعا الكوتيشن دي من الحاجات اللي بنسميها turning point in Oliver's character، زي نقطة تحول كده شوية في شخصية. شفنا من خلال بعد الكوتيشن ده شفنا شخصية جديدة أو جانب جديد من شخصية أوليفر تويست. I heard she died in the workhouse because she was no good at nothing. طيب who said this? To whom? Why did the speaker say that? What happened after that? طبعا اللي قال الكلام اللي هو الاوفنسيف ده المهين هو نوح كلايبول to Oliver. Why? To make him angry. Why? Because he was jealous of him. Jealous of him يعني غيران منه. ليه كان jealous of him؟ لأنه إحنا عرفنا من الايفنتس بتاعت الستوري انه مستر ساوربيري was pleased with Oliver's work، كان مبسوط من شغل أوليفر. So he took him everywhere outside the house، عشان كده كان بياخده في أي شغل outside the shop. While نوح كلايبول was sitting and work inside the shop. So he felt jealous. Okay? طيب how did Oliver feel after this quotation? He felt ashamed and angry. طبعا حس بالخزي والعار وكمان حس ان هو angry. So he hit نوح hard. ايه اللي حصل بعد كده؟ He felt ashamed and angry, so he began to hit نوح. طيب how do you think Oliver، ده برضه ممكن يجي لي critical thinking. How do you think Oliver felt when نوح كلايبول was unkind to him؟ طبعا زي ما قلنا he felt ashamed and angry. عشان نقدر كمان ليه he felt ashamed and angry هنشوف كوتيشن كده تاني من اللي قاله نوح. قال I heard she died because she was no good at anything، اللي قلنا المرة اللي فاتت. لكن الأهم من كده إن هو he loved. عشان كده دايما بنقول it doesn't matter what to say، مش مهم اللي أنت بتقوله but how to say it. ممكن أقول كلام عادي جدا وأنا ببتسم خلاص ما بيجرحش حد، أوكي؟ لكن ممكن أقوله بطريقة فيها laughing at أو زي سخرية أو كده، فده طبعا بيسبب angry اللي قدامي. فاحنا بنقول إيه؟ the way you say is very important. I heard that if he hadn't died they would have punished her. حتى أنا سمعت كمان إن لو ما كانتش ماتت كانوا هم عاقبوها. كل ده كلام offensive مهين. قال له كمان the nurse said she died of a broken heart. بيلمح كأنه في سكندال أو مصيبة حصلت أو شيء فيه خزي أو عار في موت his mother. طبعا any natural person هيحس إن هو angry و furious and he will hit the speaker. That's exactly what Oliver had done. Quotation تاني. You poor boy. We must get Mr. Bumble soon. You poor boy. يا ترى الكلام ده اتقال عن مين؟ مين كان poor؟ Who said this? why did the speaker say so؟ ليه اتقال الكلام ده؟ what does that show؟ والكلام ده show ايه؟ بيعكس ايه او بيقول لنا ايه؟ طبعا اللي قالت الكلام ده Mrs. Sowerberry. Mrs. Sowerberry. Why? Because Nuh was crying while Oliver was hitting him. لأن نوح كان crying وأوليفر hitting him. فطبعا مين المقصود هنا؟ poor boy. طبعا نوح Claypool. قالت عليه Mrs. Sowerberry. That shows ايه؟ That Mrs. Sowerberry loved نوح Claypool more than Oliver. More than Oliver. Okay? Let's have a break, then we'll come back again. فاصل نرجع تاني إن شاء الله. And my dear students, after the break, let's complete. Here we have another quotation. Okay? Oliver, do you know who is speaking? Aren't you afraid? طيب نشوف مين قال الquotation ده. Who said this? Where was the Oliver at that time? What were Oliver's answers to the question, to these questions? Okay, نشوف who said that. Oliver, do you know who is speaking? Okay, Mr. Bumble. طبعا اللي قال الكلام ده Mr. Bumble. Where were Oliver? Where was Oliver? Oliver was in the cold and dark cellar in Mr. Sowerberry's house. طبعا هو كان موجود ساعتها في cellar اللي هو حاجة like underground كده. اوكي موجودة في Sowerberry's house. اوكي he said that نشوف بقى الانسرز بتاع Oliver Twist. He said that he knew who was speaking and that he wasn't afraid. وده جانب تاني من شخصية أوليفر ان هو كان a little bit brave. كان شجاع ان هي قال له لا انا I know who is speaking و I am not afraid. I am not afraid. Okay. طيب what advice did Mr. Bumble give to Mrs. Sowerberry؟ ايه الادفايس ان Mr. Bumble give to Mrs. Sowerberry after this hard situation? He said that to them, or he advised them to leave Oliver in the dark cellar without food for some days and to feed them only soup after that. ويعيشوه زي ما كان عايش في الورك هاوس على بس السوب اللي هو الشوربه اللي هو زي ما قلنا اسمها جريول. شوربه كده ليكويد خفيفه خالص لا تسمن ولا تغني من جوع زي ما بنقول. Why do you think Oliver didn't tell Mr. Sowerberry why he was fighting with Noah Claypool؟ ليه تعتقد ما قالش أوليفر على السبب اوكي اللي هو بسببه اتخانق مع نوح كلايبول؟ ليه يا ترى؟ لانه maybe احنا قلنا اول ما تشوف do you think يبقى ده critical thinking. اوكي وفي الحاله دي انت هتقول your opinion. اوكي فهقول maybe because he knew that they always side by نوح لان هم دايما كانوا side by نوح على طول بياخدوا صف نوح. عارفين side جانب فبقولها كده because they always side by نوح. زي ما شفنا حتى في الستوري هم لما جم لقوهم fighting together they even didn't ask why are you fighting. They just took Oliver and put him in the cellar without asking for the reason. ممكن أقول رأي تاني or maybe he believed that they didn't care for his feeling. هو عارف إنه أصلا they didn't care for his feeling وده قد إيه بيبين إنه الحياة فعلا كانت unbearable very difficult in Mr. Sowerberry's house. Question التاني what three places did Oliver live in chapter 1 طبعا. Which one do you think is the worst and which one do you think is the best؟ ايه الثلاث اماكن اللي شفناهم في chapter 1 ومن رايك انت ايه الورست ايه اسوأ مكان وايه البست and tell why. لو بصينا كده على الداتا هلاقي ان في chapter 1 على الداتا اوكي في chapter 1 هو راح 3 places 3 اماكن. طبعا احنا متفقين ان he was born in the workhouse لكن على طول immediately went to the orphanage والكتاب بتاعنا كمان قايل عليه old house اللي هو الملجأ او بيت كده قديم for babies. He stayed there till the age of 9. When he became 9 he moved to the workhouse. Then when he asked for more food, he was sold as an apprentice to Mr. Sowerberry and moved to Mr. Sowerberry's house. لو بصينا كده على 3 places اوكي هلاقي في main characters قابلتنا في كل place، ومن خلال المين كاركترز دي والتريتمنت بتاعها مع اوليفر هعرف which is the worst place and which is the best place. يعني لو بصينا مثلا في الارفنج هلاقيه كان مسؤول من مسز مان. مسز مان دي لما اجي ادسكرايب هير لازم اقول عليها ان هي she was dishonest, she was cruel. اوكي يبقى she was dishonest and cruel woman، كانت غير امينه وكمان unkind cruel قاسيه جدا. اوكي نروح للورك هاوس هلاقيه قابل المانجرز واهم واحد فيهم كان مستر بامبل، ومستر بامبل نفس الكلام اقدر اقول عليه ان هو كان كرول قاسي جدا. اوكي كان كرول جريدي اند جريدي كمان طماع، لان لو لاحظنا في سين شفنا فيه الفرق بين هيز فود وذي كيدز فود. طبعا هو كان بياكل بوتيتو وتشيكن او ميت while the children were eating just soup. اوكي يبقى في الارفنج مسز مان قلنا عليها اللي هي كانت كرول اند unkind وجريدي كمان، ومستر بامبل هنا كمان كان جريدي وانكايند. اوكي وهنا لما راح لمستر ساوربيرز هاوس كمان كانوا هم معاه كانوا مين بخلة جدا معاه، وكانوا برضو كرول unkind. موروفر والاكتر من كده ان هم كانوا كمان unfair. fair يعني عادل، لما اقول unfair يعني ظالم او غير عادل. يبقى هلاحظ كل الناس اللي قابلوه في ال3 places كانوا cruel and greedy. وهنا كمان زاد عليهم انه كانوا unfair غير عادلين. يعني صح كلهم هنا كانوا بيبقوا محتاجين فود مور فود، لكن كل الاطفال كانوا زي بعض no problem، هم فير في الظلم. اوكي لكن هنا في مستر ساوربيرز هاوس لقينا ان هم unfair. في سين شفنا فيه مسز ساوربيري بتنادي على نوح كليبول وتقول له come on نوح sit by the fire and have your breakfast. اوكي تعالى جنب النار عشان تتدفى. اوكي و have your breakfast. حتى اوليفر قال كده بينه وبين نفسه why couldn't I have such a good breakfast like نوح. اوكي يبقى هم دول ال 3 places. اوكي وهنشوف مع بعض بقى الانسر بتاعتنا هنقول ايه. هنقول اول بليس طبعا ده orphanage اللي هو الملجأ، the workhouse and Mr. Sowerberry's house. دول الثلاث اماكن. طيب I think the worst place is Mr. Sowerberry's house. كان بيت مستر ساوربيري. Why? Because Oliver برضو got cold نفس الكلام، كان got cold بردان وhungry وpunished وتعاقب فيه. cold, hungry and punished. moreover اللي اكتر بقى من كده he felt angry and ashamed، خلوه يحس بالangry and ashamed and suffer from unfair people. طيب what is the best place؟ يعني to some sort to some extent الى حد ما، طبعا مش the best يعني الافضل، يعني زي ما بنقول كده افضل مكان نو، لكن افضل مكان في الثلاثه يعني اقلهم ضررا زي ما بنقول، اللي هو كان the orphanage الملجأ. ليه؟ because he wasn't beaten there. at least على الاقل ما كانش في حد beat him بيضربه في الorphanage. يبقى the worst place كان Mr. Sowerberry's house و the best place was the orphanage. That's point of view. لو انت عندك اي point of view مختلفة عن كده ممكن تشاركنا بيها. اوكي او ممكن تكتبها طالما انت convinced with. طيب هنا بقى critical thinking again. if you were Oliver would you leave Sowerberry's house؟ لو انت كنت مكان Oliver كنت فعلا هتسيب Sowerberry's house و why؟ طبعا زي ما احنا شايفين in the picture he was running away. okay yes if I were Oliver I would have left. if I were Oliver I would leave the house of Mr. Sowerberry. why? because life in Mr. Sowerberry's house was unbearable. unbearable يعني لا تطاق، خلاص I can't bear it anymore. I can't bear it anymore. طيب in your opinion what caused Oliver's mother to die؟ ده سؤال شوية من أول chapter. in your opinion what caused Oliver's mother to die؟ ايه سبب الدث بتاع Oliver Twist's mother؟ I think because she was weak and ill. she was weak and ill لأن هي كانت weak and beside كمان the lack of care in the workhouse، كمان نقص الكيرنج الاهتمام في الورك هاوس. يبقى نقول because I think because she was ill and weak beside the shortage or the lack of care in the workhouse. طيب do you think people were right to leave their villages and work in factories؟ برضو دي سؤال جنرال كده على الستوري من خلال عن الشابتر 1 من خلال الايفنتس اللي احنا شفناها في شابتر 1. هل الناس اللي سابوا their villages و came to towns to find jobs were they right؟ was that a good decision؟ هل ده كان قرار صائب to leave their villages and work in factories؟ نشوف مع بعض الانسر. طبعا no I don't think so. No. Why? Because they weren't trained. Number one عشان اشتغل in a factory او at any job او في اي مهنة لازم ابقى well trained الاول، ابقى متدرب عليها كويس. Okay. Number two they didn't get enough money. الcircumstances طبعا كانت غير صحية خالص في العمل. They didn't get enough money or food or place to live in. وحتى ما خدوش على ابسط حقوق الانسان اللي هو food, money because of their work، money بسبب شغلهم، ولا place حتى to live in، و they became destitute. زي ما قلناها المرة اللي فاتت destitute means very very poor، very very poor. طيب هنا طبعا تاني بنقول على الكاركتر المين كاركترز. اوكي لو احنا عايزين نشوفها بالتفصيل قلنا في الاولد هاوس او الاورفنيج كانت ميسيس مان ووصفناها ان هي dishonest greedy and cruel. cruel زي ما قلنا هي نفسها unkind. يبقى لو عايزه اتكلم عن الكاركتر اللي هي ميسيس مان من خلال اللي شفناه هقول ان ميسيس مان was dishonest كانت غير امينه dishonest greedy طماعه and cruel وقاسيه. المكان الثاني place 2 the workhouse ده كان شفنا فيه مستر بامبل والمانجرز of the workhouse، وشفنا فيه the master who gave them their food. كلهم كانوا بيتصفوا ان هم او نقدر to describe them ان هم they were greedy and cruel. place 3 ثالث مكان اوكي كان مستر ساوربيري's house. مستر ساوربيري's house كان بيت مستر ساوربيري، وكمان لقينا انه they were they اللي هم مين؟ مستر ساوربيري، مسز ساوربيري، نوح كلايبول اللي هو the apprentice. they were all unfair and cruel to him. unfair and cruel to him. طب لو جالي سؤال مخصوص عن مستر ساوربيري هل اقدر اقول عليه ان هو he was kind to Oliver؟ طبعا no I can't say that because there is no clear situation. ما فيش clear situation يوضح ان هو he was kind to him. لكن كل اللي اتقال لنا عنه ان he was pleased with Oliver's work. كل اللي اتقال لنا عنه ان هو كان مبسوط من شغل أوليفر. وعرفنا كمان ان أوليفر didn't like that job لكن he had to work it so he worked hard. مش شرط اكون بحب الشغل اللي انا بعمله لكن once انا اتحطيت في مكان بwork hard. وعشان كده كل اللي اتقال لنا عن مستر ساوربيري ان هو he was pleased with Oliver's work so he took him everywhere outside the shop. اوكي عشان كده كان بياخده معاه في الشغل اللي بره. وكمان هتلاحظوا لو احنا شفنا مثلا الموفي هلاقيه بيقول له مستر بامبل وهو بيقنعه عشان ياخد أوليفر تويست بنقول ان هو he has a sad face مناسب للجوب بتاعته. هو كان الجوب بتاعته اقدر اقول عليه ان هو اندرتيكر. عارفين اندرتيكر اللي هو حنوتي يس وكل المناسبات بتاعته الاوكيجن بتاعته اكيد sad. فهو عشان to convince him to take Oliver away of the workhouse he said that oh Mr. Sowerberry he had a sad face. He had a sad face that can help you. يبقى كل البليسز او كل الكاركترز اللي قابلت أوليفر تويست زي ما قلنا نقدر نقول عليهم كانوا كرول كانوا جريدي كانوا مين بخلة واخر حاجة كمان كانوا unfair غير عادلين. Don't forget بقى ان شاء الله next episode ان شاء الله we're gonna discuss together the exam paper. اوكي هنناقش مع بعض exam كامل ان شاء الله on units. طبعا انت هتستدي at home ان شاء الله unit 1 2 and 3 هنحاول نذاكرهم كلهم مع chapter 1 of course. اوكي ولو في اي difficult question just write it and call us to know them. اوكي وان شاء الله هنناقش مع بعض امتحان كامل عشان نبقى ready for October exam، عشان تبقى جاهز لامتحانات اكتوبر ان شاء الله. هنناقش كل الاسئله اللي موجوده في الاكزام بيبر، بس على اليونتس 1 2 3 and chapter 1. So please don't forget to prepare yourself. Okay. طيب نشوف كده مع بعض تاني question هنا. Okay. Please sir I want some more. قلنا ان ده very quotation. Okay. Please sir I want some more. لازم تخلي بالك قوي من الquestion 3 اللي بيجي فيه. Okay. Oliver to the master who gave them their food. Okay. Because the food wasn't enough. هنا كمان the master ايه بقى الريزلت بتاع الريكوست دوت او الديماند دوت؟ انه Oliver was locked, got punished, was locked، كانوا خلاص حبسوه في dark room. اوكي. without food of course. without food. عمل ايه Oliver في البانشمنت ده؟ كان he was crying himself till sleep. كان بيفضل to cry himself till sleep لحد ما ينام. اوكي. وكمان at every meal او at each meal Mr. Bumble beat him in front of the whole boys، قدام كل الهول boys. ليه؟ as a warning for them، كتحذير ليهم. don't ask for more food. اوكي. moreover كمان وإن الريزلت كمان the workhouse put a sign okay to find someone to take Oliver away. من السيتويشن ده لو قال لي مثلا، لو جاب لي question على Oliver's character وقال لي do you think Oliver was brave؟ do you think Oliver was brave؟ طبعا هقول yes Oliver was brave، وهقول السيتويشنز كذا سيتويشن جات لنا ظهر فيها انه كان brave. He was number one he was the only one to ask for more food in the workhouse. Number two كمان when Nuh Claypool said bad things أو bad sentences about Oliver's mother, he was brave enough to defend his mother and began to hit Nuh Claypool. كمان كان brave when he was locked in the cellar and Mr. Bumble came to him and asked him, oh Oliver do you know who's speaking؟ قال له yes I know who's speaking. أيوة أنا عارف مين بيتكلم. okay. aren't you afraid؟ قال له aren't you afraid؟ قال له no I'm not afraid. no I'm not afraid. هو دايما كده صاحب الحق لازم يبقى strong enough. يبقى من الكاركترز من الجانب من أوليفر كاركترز أقدر أقول إن he was brave. يعني لو جينا كده وصفنا أوليفر's كاركتر، أوليفر طبعا اول حاجه لازم اقولها على أوليفر على الداتا هنا معانا. اوكي. لازم اقول ان هو he was an innocent boy. كان innocent بريء جدا، وكان well behaved كان بيتصرف كويس على طول زي ما شفنا كده well behaved او well behave زي ما شفنا على طول لما بيكلم حد مثلا الماسترز بتوعه او المانجرز بيقول مثلا اوكي معنا فون كول مع مريم. يس مريم. hello مريم how are you doing؟
hello miss.
hello مريم how are you؟
fine thank you.
do you have a question؟
yes please.
okay I'm all ears مريم. yes.
ممكن اسال سؤال؟
yes yes of course.
قال لي هنا I
طب your question is about the story of Oliver Twist?
no.
طيب okay no problem. yes مريم. I طب هستأذنك مريم حبيبتي بليز هنوطي صوت التلفزيون وهنسمع من التليفون.
اوكي.
yes.
قال لي هنا
I
then
I think yes I think
I would think
I use think
what no
معلش حبيبتي again تاني I was
yeah
was I was.
Yes. Since.
I was since.
Would.
I would.
Yes.
I would مش was. طيب اوكي. I would.
Send.
I would think.
Send.
Send. Send. I would send.
Send.
I would send. Yes. مريوم بليز حبيبتي هنوطي صوت التلفزيون ونسمع من الموبايل بليز او من التليفون.
Okay.
Yes. I would send.
Send. بالسي.
I would help.
Send. بالسي. سي. مش دي. Send.
Sent. I would send. Yes.
You.
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 I would send you. An.
Email.
Email.
Yeah.
Yes. هي دي الجملة. F. F.
اللي رن.
Sorry مريوم. I would send you an email. Very.
اللي رن please.
معلش تاني يا مريوم. an email.
اللي رن. CA.
CA.
Yeah.
CA. ها. CA. R.
EA. miss.
CAR. E.
Yeah.
E.
L.
L.
Yeah.
Carl. The name. Person's name.
No.
Huh?
Eliral.
Similar.
Yeah. Eliral.
طب ال C عندك capital right؟
No.
مش capital؟
Yeah.
طيب كملي. اوكي. Go on. This. This morning.
Yeah.
Okay. I would send you an email, Carl, this morning. Okay? Define the mistake. Define the mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you مريم. هنسمع مع بعض الإجابة. بصي حبيبتي. I would send you an email, Carl, this morning. طبعا دي الحالة دي F تانية بس طبعا المفروض يكون في جزء تاني بس no problem. بس حتى لو مش حالة F I would send. طبعا it's impossible to use send. طبعا عندنا الverb send والpast بتاعه sent والpast participle برضو sent. اوكي. طيب after the models. بعد المودلز اللي هي سواء كانت would or well or can or could or shall or should كل الحاجات دي. اوكي. او shouldn't منفيه او want او غيره او may او كل الكلام ده لازم بيجي بعده infinitive. لازم بيجي بعده ايه؟ infinitive اللي هي زي ما بنسميها الموديل verbs اللي هي الافعال الناقصه will would كل الكلام ده. اوكي. لازم بيجي بعده infinitive. يبقى الجمله الصح بتاعتنا هتبقى I would send you an email واكمل الجمله an email سوري واكمل الجمله as it is. اوكي. ليه؟ لان would لازم يجي بعدها infinitive. I hope you got it مريم. Thank you very much. So happy to be this episode. Next episode إن شاء الله هنجهز نفسنا عشان هنحل مع بعض complete exam. امتحان كامل على unit 1 و 2 و 3 and chapter 1 to prepare yourself for October exam. Okay? Thank you very much. Till we meet next time. I wish you happy hours and successful study إن شاء الله. Thank you very much. Goodbye.